The last time the AMA Pro ATV Motocross Championship met, Florida's Jeffrey Rastrelli took the Moto 1 hole shot at New York's home of horsepower, Unadilla AMX. Championship contender Joel Hetrick came with the heat, though, as the two battled fiercely for the top spot. And the checkers, it was Hetrick with the Moto win. In the Moto 2, champ Chad Wiener grabbed the hole shot in early lead and never looked back. Hetrick battled his way all the way up to second, as Rastrelli found himself in a tussle with the Ironman John Natale. In the end, Wiener took the overall win, with Hetrick in second and Rastrelli in third. REDBUD ATVMX is next.
REDBUD! Here in Buchanan, Michigan, right on the Indiana-Michigan state line. We got the X-Prox ATV National Motocross Championship presented by CST Tires. Just 3 rounds to go in this championship, and this track so famous for the great July 4th weekend for the bikes, and starting to grow as one of the favorites on the ATV motocross side too, as you see the big crowd rolling in, getting to see riders like Joel Hetrick. David Hogsma here in the 422. He's been coming on strong this year with a couple podiums. It's Cody Jansen on the 25. Everybody's got their machines nicely shined up. There's John Natale, the veteran, on the lucky number 13. Fans gathering around. Hey, Nick Janusa, one of the up-and-coming stars of the series. Here's Chad Wiener, 4-time and defending champion. Josh Upperman on that beautiful retro Honda. Nick Cavagliaso's machine getting tuned up. There's Ronnie Higgerson getting ready to go. And let's check in with Jeff Rastrelli, who's third in points.
Jeffrey Rastrelli here at REDBUD MX, coming off a podium at Unadilla. Probably one of the best finishes of the year, well, best races of the year really for me. Hanging with those top 2 guys, it was definitely a tough one, but we finally got my health on track and my diet's all good, and I feel better than ever, so I'm really looking forward to this race here at REDBUD. The track's really sandy and rough, and been doing a lot of training with Joel, and then I went to the Blodecki compound that's about 30 minutes away from here and rode a bunch of motos in the sand, and I think I'm prepared, and I'm looking to take that momentum from Unadilla and bring it to here at REDBUD, and hopefully step up a few positions and maybe take a win. It'd be nice to do that for my first time in my career, and I'm looking forward to today.
Also looking forward to it, I'm sure, is the 88 of Joel Hetrick. Had a 5-race win streak snapped over the last 2 races, but REDBUD has always been good to him.
Last year I went 2-1 for the overall here, so coming into this weekend I'm pretty happy, I'm confident. I liked the track last year a lot. Looks like we got a lot of rain before we got here, so the track's going to be a little rough for the first start. Should come around though with the sunny weather we got now, and the temperature's coming around, so it's going to be a good weekend. It's going to be 2 tough motos though. The track's looking like it's going to get rough, and hopefully I'm ready for that. We've been doing a lot of shock testing with Doug Roll and Jay Goebel, and shocks and the bike are working a lot better. The DASA motor's hooking up great, Max's tires. Everything's clicking this weekend, and hopefully we can go up there and get another 1-1 finish.
And he needs that to make up points on Wiener in the series standings. Only 6 motos left this year. We're going to start today's action with qualifying right after this.
ATV Motocross Racing brought to you in part by Prox Racing Parts for all your hard parts needs, and by RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready. AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. And by CST Tires, where passion meets the ground.
Qualifier time here at REDBUD. Famous track here in Michigan, right on the Indiana state line. There's Chad Wiener, who you have to figure will be fast today. Wiener, very good in the rough sand, and also he's a Midwestern native, so all this stuff kind of works in his favor, and he was very, very fast today in qualifying, as you'll see a bit later as we watch Joel Hetrick, who has had the majority of these ATVRider.com Fast Qualifier awards, not just this year, but the last several years. He has been a 1-lap specialist. Here you see Jeff Rastrelli showing you just how difficult this track is. Pretty technical jumps, and that dirt is pretty wet from all the rain we had leading into it. It's Josh Upperman airing it out on the Root River Racing, that retro look Honda. Hogsma on the 422, just getting over the top of that tabletop. Nick Janusa, hey! Yeah, no problems on the big jumps there. That's a tabletop that separates one side of the track from another. Brett Music here on the number 209. Got throwing a little whip action on it. Sam Rowe on the 38. Sean Taylor out of Iowa. Guess he'd have a lot of fans here watching as well. That's local in motocross terms. Cody Jansen and Wes Lewis going by. Johnny Hale of Oklahoma trying to break into the top 10. And here's Nicholas Cavagliasso showing just how big they go here. And Wienen ends up with the Fast Qualifier Award. So that's a big step for him. The big man from Galena, Illinois, looking for his 5th straight championship in this series, and it looks good right now.
Man, this track is my favorite stop on the tour, and yeah, we've had a pretty good last couple of rounds. We won at Millville, and we won at Unadilla. You know, we're just maintaining the points, just trying to keep everything, keeping it close. So, I mean, it's been good, really tight racing, and you know, it gives me momentum. You know, coming into this round, this is my favorite track, like I said, and I've had a lot of success here, and you know, I'm really looking forward to the deep sandy ruts, and you know, it gets gnarly rough here. So hopefully we'll get some good gate drops and, you know, go 1-1.
And there's Wienen with his Yamaha headphones, everyone getting locked in mentally and physically. Moto 1 is next.
ATV Motocross Racing brought to you in part by Prox Racing Parts for all your hard parts needs, and by RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready. Amsoil, the first in synthetics. And by CST Tires, where passion meets the ground.
Time for Moto 1. Jason Wygant here to give you the call on MavTV. It's X-Prox Moto number 1 at REDBUD, round 10 of the 12 race ATV National Motocross Championship. Rocky Mountain ATVMC on board. Josh Upperman on the number 20. Let's go racing at REDBUD. Upperman a second place start, but even he eating a ton of roost. And Brett Music there on the 209 getting right in front of him for second, as Joel Hetrick is off to the races in the best way possible with the lead early on the liquid wrench Elka Maxxis Honda. And Hetrick going to have to be in desperation mode. Needs to win both motos today to make up some ground on Chad Wienen in the series standings. Wienen with a 22-point lead in the series, and you get 25 points for a moto win. So he wants to win races and hopes that Wienen has trouble. Upperman under pressure from Rastrelli, who has her other onboard. Oh, and Hetrick flirting with the outside of the racetrack. Great battle for second. Rastrelli wants around Upperman, and no sign of Wienen, your points leader at the moment. This is the big Monza turn, right-hander. Oh, and a mistake by Upperman. Able to stay in front of Rastrelli. So this is all great if you're Hetrick. Let these guys battle it out, slow each other down. Now into the Millville-style sand whoops. Oh, too much side-to-side action for Upperman, and that is going to allow Rastrelli to go straight into second. This tabletop will lead them to the Rocco's Leap. Big uphill triple. Hetrick negotiates that, and a series of sand rollers, and to the finish line jump we go, a lap in the books. And Hetrick already starting to pull away from his buddy Rastrelli in second. And there's the champ, Wienen around the outside of Upperman. We've got 3 big hitters up front, top 3 in the points, our top 3 on the track. And you see Wienen not too far behind the second place rider Rastrelli as Hetrick tries to get away. Big floater jump there, and that's what everybody loves about this track. It has a little bit of everything. It has the big jumps to some of the other facilities, has great dirt, but it has some technical sections too. We got to be very careful about line choice. See how rough it is and how difficult it was for Hetrick to get that machine into the rut that he wanted. And it's starting to tighten up there for second. Wienen is closing the gap. And you see these sand rollers. Yes, that's another little bit of everything. That is a sample of what we saw a few weeks ago at Millville, Minnesota. And that sand whoop section is where Chad Wienen makes so many passes. So let's see if he can maybe make a move on Rastrelli through there. It is starting to heat up. His battle for the number 2 spot. Getting away from Upperman. And Hetrick getting away from everyone. He's past the mechanics area, down the ski jump, into the back half of this racetrack. I think it's Upperman now facing some heat from John Natale and David Hogsma Jr. That's 4th, 5th, and 6th as we stay with our leader. Beautiful job by Hetrick to get in and out of that corner with enough speed to make that table. Now Upperman's getting bounced all over the place. Gives you an idea of how choppy this track is. And here comes Wienen, just sort of measuring him. This is a real challenge for Rastrelli. He has improved big time this year, up to 3rd in points. That's a career high. But can he match wits and bang bars with Hetrick and Wienen, who have won all the races the last couple of years? Hetrick tries to get away. That's the press. Rastrelli, yes, he's able to hold off Wienen. We're halfway through. Can he hold him all the way to the finish? We go back to the Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com onboard. Oh, that is Hendrick! Hendrick, your leader! Just getting back on his machine, he was down, had a crash after the start, and suddenly Jeff Rastrelli finds himself in the lead. Unbelievable shake-up here at REDBUD. Can Rastrelli get the moto win? He's gonna have to deal with Wienen to do it.
ATV Motocross Racing brought to you in part by Prox Racing Parts for all your hard parts needs, and by Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready. Amsoil, the first in synthetics, and by CST Tires, where passion meets the ground.
We just saw the clip there. Joe Hendrick looked like he was pulling away to a perhaps sure moto win, but nothing is sure in this sport. He crashed. Jeff Rastrelli has now taken the lead. Hendrick has recovered for third, and now it's up to Rastrelli to try to deliver the moto win. I don't believe Rastrelli has ever won one of these before. This would be a huge breakthrough for the young man from Florida, and he's done a good job. Wienen has gotten close at times, but not ridiculously so. I mean, it's just enough for Rastrelli to know he's back there, but not so close that he's actually running in on him. A little bit closer in that corner, but then there's a few spots where Rastrelli is able to actually get back away from the champ. Over the tabletop we go. You see Hendrick in third, trying to keep them honest. Got to be careful through these sandwiches, though. We know that's where Chad Wienen is fast, and he takes advantage. On board with Rocky Mountain ATVMC, showing you what it's like to deal with a four-time and defending champ. Too much for Rastrelli to deal with. He had to be perfect coming out of that corner, because if you give the champ any room, any momentum in those sand whoops at all, he will get away. All 6'4" of him, so much leverage, and that helps in those rough sections. So Wienen into the lead. Wow, what an interesting moto it has been. Hendrick, oh, Hendrick is getting back into it. He has the leaders back within his sights. Impressive charge right now for the young man from Pennsylvania. We might have a three-rider duel before it's over, and Hendrick knows second place is huge in this one. Even if he cannot get Wienen for the moto win, we'll race twice to get a second in the first moto and a first in Moto 2, as you see Rastrelli still having trouble in those whoops. If Hendrick can get him, win Moto 2, he could still get the overall today despite the crash. And you know that he knows it, as he is starting to run the wheels in on Rastrelli now. Down to the inside. Right-hand corner. Oh, Rastrelli just able to get back in front. Again, these guys are pretty good friends off the track, but that's off the track on it right now. It's every man for himself, and Hendrick able to take it away. He's up to second, and I don't think he's done. Can he run down Chad Wienen for the lead? Look at the corner entrance speed from Hendrick, but you have to ride error-free, and that's the difference. Very few mistakes usually from Wienen, and that's going to make him hard to pass. We saw one time this year where he flipped that machine in a battle with Hendrick, but unforced errors, he doesn't give you many of those, and time is running out for Hendrick. Wienen Motorsports, SSI decals, Fly Racing, factory Yamaha machine, Walsh Racecraft components, powering Wienen forward, and he has responded to the challenge. Hendrick got close, and Chad has stabilized that gap at about 5 quad lengths right there. Does Hendrick have anything left? Something he can do in desperation mode in the last lap. We're into the sand whoops. Both going to the outside to get the drive for the tabletop. Larocco's leap is next. They negotiate that. They head back toward the finish. Great try for Hendrick to recover from the crash, but you can't give the champ an opening like that and hope to win. Chad Wienen, first moto victor here at REDBUD, and another great ride. Jeff Rastrelli continues to make big strides this year. Upperman in the tally. Top 5. We get ready for X-Prox Moto number 2. Not much time to rest and recover and rebuild the machines. It's all part of the game, though. In ATV motocross, Rastrelli will give us the Rocky Mountain ATVMC onboard. Who knows? Maybe he pulls off the overall win. Let's get to it. Oh, and a bad start. Bad jump. And he got pulled. And look at this battle. Hendrick and Wienen going for the whole shot. Rastrelli about 5th. Nice recovery there. Hendrick able to edge in front of his championship rival. He has to win this moto. And we'll see how Wienen plays it in second. He'll certainly take it if it's there. Will he force the issue or not? Uphill triple. they'll come back into view. Look at Rastrelli already trying to make moves. That is Upperman who he's working on. Finding some lines on the insides. Hedrick right on the edge, literally, of that preferred rut that holds him on the inside. Almost stepped over it and flat tracking his way to this right-hander. I love watching these guys pitch it into that corner. Wienen down to the inside. This track offering up multiple lines. And you're in the thick of it right now with Rastrelli. Look at Wienen headed toward the sand whoops. Can he make a pass? He's side by side. Oh! He goes from outside to inside. Hedrick able to hold him off. Rastrelli on the inside at the end of the whoops. Upperman's got it on board as well, and he's able to leap back past him. Oh, a game of chicken down here in this left-hand corner, and I think Rastrelli wins it to take over third. Great intensity early in this moto. These guys are bringing the heat. Hedrick was able to open up a pretty good gap early in Moto 1. Wienen is ensuring that doesn't happen in Moto 2. Here's the uphill triple again. And Hedrick is able to extend it just a little bit. Cannot make those mistakes, though. You gotta figure he was so frustrated losing that lead in Moto 1 with a crash. He knows every point could count. Upperman showing how difficult it is to negotiate some of those corners. That right-hander, the Monza turn with the big banking. Look at Hedrick actually starting to edge away now from Wienen a little bit more. So a great ride by the young man from Pennsylvania. But you never know how Wienen is playing it. He's got that 25-point lead in the series after Moto 1. Will he go for the win? Find out next.
ATV Motocross Racing brought to you in part by Prox Racing Parts for all your hard parts needs. And by Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready. AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. And by CST Tires, where passion meets the ground.
Coming down to the wire here, ATV Motocross coverage on MavTV. Joel Hedrick as we enter the second half of the second and final moto. Pulling away from Chad Wienen, and that could give him the overall win. But look at this, Jeff Rastrelli playing the spoiler role. You can see the confidence starting to build in him weekly as he gets closer and closer to the Hedrick and Wienen pace. Oh, little mistake from Hedrick. Remember, he tossed away Moto 1. Okay, not a problem here. Just really difficult to get out of that corner, but these guys are bouncing all over the place. They're all bobbling, and now doubling some of those sand whoops is Hedrick. And he has really opened it up now. And I've got to think that you've got Wienen managing that championship, and it all came down to the season opener when Hedrick crashed big time, hurt his knee, and didn't finish. He and Wienen have been basically even on points since, but that gap that Wienen opened up at the first race of the year at Daytona, that has made all the difference. Shout out to Upperman, a retro ride, a renaissance ride. Great performance by him. Always good to see him battling it out with Natali. You've got Higerson and Hogsma in that fight as well. Hedrick continues to roll. That's really the best fight there is right now, as Wienen has pulled away a bit from Rastrelli. But then you've got Upperman, Natali, Hogsma, Higerson fighting it out behind the top three in a battle that goes all the way back to 7th place. Woo! Look at that! Track gets rougher, and I think the 88 of Hedrick, he's just liking it more and more. And not to say that Wienen can't hang it out through those types of sections as well, but he has been managing this championship perfectly the last few years, and I seem to mention it every couple of weeks on this show. But there were times when Wienen was the wide-open guy. In fact, that was his nickname for a while, Wide-Open Wienen. He was fast, but he had some crashes and injuries that cost him a shot at championship. So he learned a lesson the hard way. And if you're Joel Hedrick this season and last, you've got to think about the moto wins, the overall wins, the overall speed was definitely there. But you cannot afford to make any mistakes against the consistency of Chad Wienen. And it also hurts both these guys, I think, that no one else has been able to quite get to their level and get between them this year. Now, Rastrelli has certainly made gains through the past years, but of course we've seen John Natali and Upperman and those riders in there. It's been a great season for Thomas Brown in the past. Of right now it's all about these two, and today the victory goes to Joel Hetrick at REDBUD. 6 wins in 10 rounds for him.
Came home with the victory, the 2-1 for the overall. Feels great. Pulled both hole shots. Had a little mishap in the first moto that set me back to third, made my way back to second, battled with Chad for the last 2 laps, but couldn't make a move on him. And second moto, just pulled the whole shot and never looked back. It was awesome 2 motos for me. The bike has been working awesome. I can't thank Jay Goebel and Doug Roll enough for getting these Elka shocks working amazing. Maxxis tires hooked up great. Dasa motor pulled awesome this weekend, and everything was clicking, and I am super pumped for this weekend, and I'm excited for Loretta's.
Came out start not so good, but we just battled through and battled with Jeffrey most of the race, and was able to make the pass on him. And then I saw Joel made a little mistake and came off the machine, and and I inherited the lead, so it worked out so well. I just rode smooth, clean today, and the track was treacherous, rough, and it's right up my alley. But Joel was on the gas, and hats off to him getting the W and maintaining that points lead. You've got 22 points up with 4 motos to go, and just plain or smart. So we're gonna keep rolling. We'll see you guys at Loretta's.
Pulled 2 really good moto finishes. Went 3-3, battled for the lead in the first one. It's a really good moto for me. Ended up losing it later in the race, kind of like Unadilla, but not so happy about that. But man, the work I'm putting in is really paying off, and looking forward to the next rounds. And I think there's 2 left. Looking for a W and some moto wins maybe. And today was really good for me. I went 3-3 and just looking to push forward, and just keep on pushing and train hard, and hopefully come out top by the end of the year.
All right, thanks, boys. Let's give you the AMSOIL race recap. Great battle early on. You had Rastrelli, Upperman, Wienen, all trying to catch Joel Hetrick. Hetrick started to pull away as Wienen and Rastrelli battle with each other. And then watch, Rastrelli goes by the down. Hetrick will take the lead. But a bobble in the whoops, that's all Chad Wienen needed. He knows what to do. Once he gets the lead, he takes it all the way to the checkered flag. Moto 2 starts so critical. Look at that. Hetrick and Wienen going for it off the line. And that would be the way that Moto would turn out with those 2 1-2. Rastrelli would get the best of Upperman and a couple of the other veteran riders to take that 3rd place spot. There was simply no stopping Hetrick. The key move, he was able to recover for second in the first moto, and the 2-1 gives him the overall win. It's still a 22-point lead for Wienen with 2 races to go, though. Stay with us all year long on MavTV.